morning. How are you all? Hope you are fine and safe by God's grace. Let us give thanks to God for protecting us for the past 10 months. Now we are in the 11th month. 11th month. Let us ask grace of the God to protect us. Okay, students, welcome to social science class. Today we are going to see the topic forms of government. Standard 9 standard. Civics lesson forms of government. Okay. What is government? You know very well. Government is nothing. Is a ruled by the people. Government is ruled by the people. And you know what is democracy? Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Who said this definition? Abraham Lincoln, who was the ex-president of America. Okay. So likewise here, government. Who forms the government? People. We only forming the government through election. Through election, we are forming the government, and through election, we are electing the leaders, and they are ruling us. They are ruling us. Government is a main agency of the state. What is government? Is a main agency of the state. It comprises several members belonging to political and administrative wings. So government is political and administrative wings. It comprises several members, and it serves as the instrument for delegation and execution of the state policies for the welfare of the people. So here the government serves as the instrument. It is an instrument. Which one? Government. Okay. It is an instrument for delegation. Delegation means we can say leaders, delegates or representatives. Their execution of the state policy. Whatever policies they are announcing previously, their execution of the state policy for the welfare of the people. So altogether, government is only for the welfare of the people. Okay, then government formulates, expresses, realizes the will of the state. Government is formulating, expressing, realizing the will of the state. So these are the points about government. And government has three organs. Do you know how many three organs are there? What are they? First one, legislature. First organ is legislature. Second one is executive. Second one is what? Executive. And third one is what? Judiciary. So how many organs are there? Three. What are they? Legislature, executive and judiciary. These three organs, they are implementing the activities of the state or people. State is nothing, is the people only. So these are three organs, they are doing the activities of the people. And government has classification also. How many are there? 4. Okay, what are they? Unitary. Unitary அப்படினா ஒற்றை ஆட்சி. Federal, கூட்டாட்சி. Parliamentary forms. பாராளுமன்ற அரசு. Fourth one, presidential forms. குடியரசு ஆட்சி. So these are the 4 classification of the government. How many are there? 4. What are they? Unitary. Second, federal. Third, parliamentary. Fourth, presidential forms. These are the 4 classification of the government. How many organs are there? 3. What are they? Legislature, executive and judiciary. Okay, so this is what about the introduction of government. Next, meaning of the government. Government refers to the executive functions of the state. It denotes a body having authority to make and enforce laws applicable to the civil, corporate, religious, academic or other groups. Types of constitution. The types of constitutions are 2. One is written constitution and unwritten constitution. Second, flexible and rigid constitution. Unitary form of government. This is first classification of the government. A unitary system of government or unitary state is a sovereign state governed as a single entity. The central government is supreme and the administrative division exercise only powers that the central government has delegated to them. England, France, Japan, and Sri Lanka are examples of unitary form of government. The term government is derived from Old French governor, derived from Latin gouvernere to direct, rule, or guide, or govern. In a unitary form of government, all the authority and powers is vested in a single center, whereas in a federal form of government, authority and power is distributed between center and the constituent units. Even in a unitary form of government, there might be a lot of decentralization of authority, but we cannot claim it as a federal system. Merits of unitary form of government. It is suitable for small countries. There is no conflict of authority and responsibility. A unitary government is less expensive. Amendments to the constitution are easy. There is uniformity of law, policy, and administration. Demerits of unitary form of government. It is not suitable for big countries. The central government will have to tackle so many complex problems that lead to administrative delay. The central government will not concentrate on local problems, local interest, and initiative. The centralization of powers, the concentration of powers may pave way for the despotism of the central government. What is despotism? Sarvadhikaram. Unitary features of the Indian Constitution. Strong center, central government's control over state territory, single constitution, flexibility of the constitution, unequal representation of the states, emergency provisions, single citizenship, single integrated unity, all India services, appointment of governor by the central government. Federal form of government. This is second classification of the government. The classification of government into unitary and federal is based on the nature of relations between the national and the regional government. A federal government is one in which powers are divided between the national government and the regional government by the constitution itself, and both operate in their respective jurisdictions independently. USA, Switzerland, Australia, Canada, Russia, Brazil, Argentina have federal form of government. In a federal model, the national government is known as a federal government, or the central government, or the union government, and the regional government is known as the state government or the provincial government. Demerits of federal form of government. Federal government is weaker when compared to unitary government. Federal government is more expensive. Provincial tendencies are very common. Lack of uniformity in administration. Threat to national unity. Distribution of powers between center and states lead to conflicts. Double citizenship. Rigid constitution cannot be amended. Rigid constitution cannot be mended easily for changing needs. The state government sometimes plays hindrance in the foreign policy. Federal features of the Indian Constitution. Dual government, written constitution, divisions of powers, supremacy of the constitution. The constitution is the supreme law of the land. The laws enacted by the center and the states must conform to its provisions. Rigid constitution, independent judiciary, bicameralism. What is bicameralism? Two houses or two assemblies. Difference between unitary form and federal form of government. Unitary form of government, only one level of government or subunits. Here, federal form of government, two level of government. Next, unitary form of government, mostly single citizenship. Here, from federal form of government, dual citizenship. Here, unitary form of government, subunits cannot operate independently, but on the side of federal government or answerable to the central government. Here, unitary form of government, no division of power, but federal government as division of power. Here, centralization of power on the side of unitary form of government, but on the other side, federal form of government, decentralization of the power. Parliamentary form of government. This is third classification. Modern democratic governments are classified into parliamentary and presidential on the basis of nature of relations between executive and the legislative organs of the government. The parliamentary system of government is the one in which the executive is responsible to the legislature for its policies and acts. The parliamentary government is also known as cabinet government. Cabinet means council of ministers, that is called cabinet government or responsible government or Westminster model of government, and is prevalent in Britain, Japan, Canada, India, among others. Here, which are the country, the parliamentary form of government? The countries are Israel. Here, what is a parliament? Knesset. Germany, Bundestag. Denmark, Folketing. Norway, Storting. USA, Congress. Japan, Diet. Britain, Parliament. So these are the countries. The parliamentary forms of government are following. Next, features of parliamentary form of government. Nominal and real executives, majority party rule, collective responsibility, dual membership and leadership of Prime Minister. Merits of parliamentary form of government. Harmony between legislature and executive. Responsible government. Prevents dictatorship. Wide representation. Demerits of parliamentary form of government. It's unstable government. No continuity of policies. Dictatorship of the cabinet. Against separation of powers. Features of presidential form of government. The president, as the head of the state, he occupies a ceremonial position. The president is elected by an electoral college for a period of 6 tenure for the 4 years. For the fixed tenure of 4 years. The president governs with the help of cabinet or a smaller body called kitchen cabinet. The legislative, executive and judicial powers of the government are separated and vested in 3 independent organs of the government. Merits of presidential system of government. It's a democratic, effective control by the president, facilitate decision making, and last one is state government. Demerits of the presidential system of government. It can degenerate into dictatorship, strained relationship between executive and legislature, lack of harmony between the legislature and executive. Difference between parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Presidential form of government. Here, president is directly elected by the people, but on the parliamentary side, prime minister is from the majority party. President is supreme, central legislature is supreme. Separation of powers, absence of separation of powers, centralization. Independent branches. Here from the parliamentary side, independent branches with overlapping function. President is head of the state, but parliamentary side, president is head of the state. President's side, president is head of the government, but on the side parliamentary, prime minister is head of the government. President's is individual leadership, parliamentary side, collective leadership. President's side, president is not accountable to Congress, but on the parliamentary form of government, collective and individual responsibility. The relationship between the center and the state in India. India is a union of states where the power is shared between the center and the states. As per the procedures mentioned in the Constitution of India, though the powers are shared between central and state government, the final decision is by the state government, central government in all matters. The relationship between center and the states are: first one, legislative relations; second, administrative relation; third, financial relations. Both the central and state governments have the power to make, but the matters differ. The center can make laws applicable to the whole nation on certain matters called as a union list. The state have the powers to make laws in some matters only applicable to their own state, called as a state list. The concurrent list includes the subject on which both the central and state government have the powers to make laws. Union list. Union lists have 100 subjects. These include foreign affairs, defense, armed forces, post and telegraph, interstate trade and commerce, and so on. State list. The state list consists of 61 subjects, which includes public order in the state, police, prisons, local governments, agriculture, and so on. Third one, concurrent list. The concurrent list has 52 subjects, which include criminal and civil procedures, marriage, divorce, economic and special planning, newspapers, books and printing presses, population control, and so on. The last one is gross national happiness. In short, we can call it GNH, that is gross national happiness. Gross national happiness is developing philosophy as well as an index which is used to measure the collective happiness in any specific nation. The concept was first mentioned in the Constitution of Bhutan, which was enacted on 18 July 2008. The term gross national happiness was coined by the fourth king of Bhutan, Jigme Singye Wangchuk, in the year 1970s. The GNH's central tenets are sustainable and equitable socio-economic development, environmental conservation, preservation and promotion of culture, and good governance. GNH is distinguishable by valuing collective happiness as the goal of governance and by emphasizing harmony with the nature and traditional values. Thank you, children.